Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's your new back here with another video. So today we are going to be reacting to this one channel I found, Am I the Jerk? So this game was this kind of a commentary video, type of bullshit that I would react to, reading stories and controversial shit from Reddit. So yeah, let's see what this is all about. Let's find some good stuff. Entitled Mother Refuses to Feed My Dog. Oh boy, this should be fun. Alright, this should be very fun. Bruh. YouTube ads, man. YouTube ads. Get the fuck out of here.
My entitled mother, who's relied on me for every trip she's ever gone on, adamantly refuses to do the same for me on my first vacation ever.
Alright.
Back in December of 2019, I decided to buy tickets to RTX. It was an event I wanted to go to for years. I finally had enough money saved up to make it happen, and I was excited. Then Corona happened. This year will be the first RTX since 2019, and I'm excited. I've been talking about this trip since 2019, but non-stop really for the past 3 months. I've been making sure she knows about it, so there's no issues with scheduling or anything. Last Saturday, I asked her if she had time for me to explain how to take care of my fish tanks while I'm gone. I have a saltwater and freshwater tank that I need 2 cubes of food in per day. I'd also need her to pour some fresh water into my saltwater tank from jugs of water that are filled and kept by my tank. That's it. 2 cubes, pour once a day for a 4-day trip. The conversation went something like this. I said, hey, the convention's this weekend, and I'm leaving Thursday, and I won't be back until Monday. Can I show you what you need to do for my fish? My mom then shoots back by saying, oh, so you need me to watch your fish for you? I say, yeah, they just need food and water. That's honestly it. She then mouths off and says, and you're asking me to take care of Barnacle? Barnacle, by the way, is a family dog, not my dog specifically. She goes on to imply that the fact that she has to take care of Barnacle as well as our grandfather. All of this basically totaling to her being passive-aggressive about needing to take care of my fish. For some
I don't think taking care of some fish would be hard. I mean, I forget a lot of things easily, but one thing I'll do, I'll just set a schedule on my clock to remind me every day that I need to feed the fish and change the water or whatever and take care of Barnacle. I don't think it's gonna be that hard. Honestly, just tell me where the fuck the dog food and the fish food is, which I don't know about the dog food, but the fish food is right next to the tank, so I don't think that's gonna be hard. And taking care of a grandpa, grandpas are sweet. I mean, how hard can taking care of a grandpa be? Depending on its situation, it's gonna be either really hard or really easy.
My mother loves to travel. She goes on at least 2 to 3 trips a year, often for a week or more. This past December, she went ziplining in Costa Rica for 2 weeks, a trip that she and my aunt and uncle had planned for months. For further context, my grandmother, who's her mother, was literally on her deathbed in December. She passed away in January, and while my mother was ziplining, I had to make sure my grandmother was properly cared for, woke up 2 times a night to turn her and to check her respirator, as well as many other things related to her health. I literally told my mother, do not worry about anything at home. I've got this. You go relax. Because I knew that the stress of seeing my grandmother so near death was weighing on her just as much as it was for me. There have also been numerous other trips my mom has taken where I had to care for my grandmother and the dog and my tanks in less dire circumstances. My grandmother has had Alzheimer's and dementia for about 8 years, so there was a slow and steady decline, and I was there for her when my mother went on her week-long trips. I was obviously...
Honestly, that kinda seems irresponsible to be going on weekly trips when you have a grandma in this kind of situation. I'm not saying it's bad that the grandma is in this situation. Don't come after me and be like, you disabled phobic or some shit. No, I'm just like, in the situation that the grandma is, that she has to have always a respirator on her, you know, the really old people type kind of shit. That's kind of irresponsible on the mother's part.
Frustrated with this, and the day after, I decided to stand up for myself and explain that I felt upset and incredibly disrespected. Like she was trying to guilt trip me about me taking my one trip. I asked her if I
Alright.
could talk to her about how she made me feel, and surprisingly enough, she agreed to listen. I said, "You implied that the responsibility of the fish that only need to be fed and watered, the dog that we've had for over a decade that has the same routine you've been a part of all that time, and my grandfather who has a home attendant for most of the day was
Alright.
something I was unfairly dumping on you, and honestly, I didn't like that." My mom then comes back with the perfect excuse saying, "Oh well, I work overtime every day and I'm tired and exhausted. And honestly, I just didn't want to do it. I don't want to have to."
She's saying like the child is one of those World of Warcraft players who's um staying at home till 35 and peeing in Mountain Dew and living off the Doritos and soda.
Take
No,
care.
she probably has a job or something. The kid. I'm saying the kid. Probably has a job herself or something. So shut the fuck up, Mrs. Mom.
Of everything. But I have to because I have no choice. I'm allowed to be annoyed and upset. I was so frustrated, I just left the conversation at that. As angry and frustrated as I was, I didn't want to confront her on it because it was going to be a huge fight, and I'm not trying to have that a week before my convention.
Alright.
Today, I find out that she scheduled some renovations on her home upstate. They're scheduled to arrive this weekend. And worst of all, she scheduled these renovations yesterday. I don't even know what to say. She's going to be leaving the dog with my aunt, who's even less responsible than my mom is. My grandfather will be in the house.
How can the aunt be less responsible than the mother? Like, the mother is already pretty irresponsible, but that's kind of understandable because one of my aunts is a, a literal psychopath. I'm not making this up. She's actually a psychopath. She has mental problems.
Alone.
But my dad always takes her side, so yeah, I can't do anything about that.
After the home attendant leaves at 5 every day for the weekend, and my fish are basically screwed. I'm not the kind of person who hangs out at night or parties or anything like that. I never have been. But this weekend is literally the first time I'll be away from home by myself in my entire life. This weekend was planned back in 2019, but my mom respects me and my time so little that a week before the convention and days since a conversation where I explained to her that I'd need her help taking care of things at home, she scheduled renovations for the exact week I needed her. I'm so angry right now that all I can do is cry. What do I do? Your mom sucks. I'm just gonna go ahead.
Start a big fight. If that was me, I'd start a big fight, win against the mom because, when you're right, you have a shit ton of argument, which she can pull up her ass, and the only time she's gonna come up with a counter argument is at the shower, okay? So you're basically gonna win your mom, easily, and yeah, you're just gonna go live your life, and she can't say shit.
Say that. It's terrible that she is doing all this right before you finally have your own vacation. I mean, how selfish can
Let's be real here. Having vacations is a human given right. Like, humans are social creatures. Like, we have to see people, we have to see places, So, you just went to your first vacation, and your mom is like, "I'm gonna start doing renovations." Your mom is a fucking piece of shit.
One possibly be. And it's not like you're asking a lot from your mom in the first place. These are very simple requests. It's not like groundbreaking stuff.
Okay.
Your mom is just super inconsistent.
Ads, man, ads. Wait a minute, guys. Alright, let's continue.
It's not like groundbreaking stuff. Your mom is just super inconsiderate and super entitled. She even goes as far as to admit that I just don't want to do it. Yeah, well, people sometimes don't want to do things, but they do it anyways because they care for those around them. Like that.
You see, I can use an example here. Yes, homeworks. The parents always force us to do homeworks. Do we want to do that? No. So, do something that you don't want for once, you fucking bastard.
It's just like
everyone wants to go wake up at 6 a.m. and go to work. No one likes that, okay? But that's just something you're gonna do.
You gotta do a lot of things.
This life is just You do stuff so that you get money, so that you can buy food, so you can buy food and survive. It's not like the Soviet Union exists anymore.
That you don't want to do. And the icing on the cake is the fact that she's doing renovations the same week that you're going to be gone. I mean, that is just
If she was a stepmom, I would say she's just doing this to annoy you. But what the fuck is your mom doing, honestly?
such garbage, and it's so unfair. For the
True?
trip itself, I would maybe get a friend and give him a key to your house and say, hey,
Yeah.
could you make sure my fish don't die over the weekend? I'm sure there's somebody that you know, or some kind of friend, or somebody that you can hire to say, hey, come over, take care of the fish because my mom sucks. Or you could even
Yeah.
get that attendant who takes care of your grandfather, give them some extra cash and say, hey, could you take care of my fish? That way you can
And
have
dog?
some kind of peace of mind regarding your pets. Overall, this is a really terrible situation to be stuck in, and I'm really sorry you're dealing with it. But hopefully you're able to enjoy RTX and have a good time and at least make
Yeah.
some kind of good memories.
Okay.
Also, by the way, if you haven't thought about it already, now's a pretty good time to start looking at moving out, because living in that kind of environment is not fair for you or anybody else. And I honestly can't think of a better
Yeah.
wake-up call for this mom than to dump literally all of this responsibility on her, just to see how she feels when she's
Yep,
asking for
that's
help.
gonna
And
be
then when that day comes, you can
the
conveniently say,
the mom is gonna be like, no, please don't leave. Who is gonna do all this work now? Then she's gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. This should be fun. This should be fun shit to listen to or see.
what? I just don't want to do it. This next one came from the Am I the Jerk podcast subreddit. Check the links in
Okay.
the description if you'd like to
Okay.
submit your own story. Am I the jerk for finally telling the truth about my cheating wife after she lied to me for years and forced me to raise a kid that wasn't even mine? I worked 2
Fuck.
jobs with long
Imagine knowing your kid isn't yours and your wife has been lying to you your whole life. Shit, real shit. But here's the thing: if they divorce, like he still has to pay child support, even though it's not his child.
which sucks. But I do it to provide for my wife and daughter. It is wearing me out, but when I see my daughter smile, it brightens my day. It makes it all worth it in the end. But let me back up a little bit and give some backstory. I was born into foster care since I was abandoned at a church shortly after I was
Shit.
born. I wouldn't find out who my parents were until much later in life, but it wouldn't really mean anything, and it actually hurt me worse when I found out just how terrible they were. So I was born into 2 different foster care houses, which luckily for
Okay.
me were not nearly as bad as some of the places that I've heard of from other people who were put in the same scenario. And
Okay.
honestly, I thank God for that. My biggest dream was to have a
Good for
family
you.
of my own to make up for the lack of one I ever got. And when I was 24,
Alright.
I met and then married my current wife after she got pregnant. I wanted to be responsible, so I did the right thing and proposed so as to
Yeah.
take care of her and the baby. I was going to college at the time, but due to the need for money as well as a tight budget, I had to leave and find work fast. Luckily, I have friends who were able to get me a good paying job, but while it paid the bills, I would still need more to provide for the baby. So I took another job as well, just so
2
I could start
jobs.
saving up. And I've worked at both of
Okay,
these.
this guy's sorry, I have to pause every minute, but this guy's dedicated. Honestly, bro takes 2 jobs to provide everything for his kid. That's a good dad.
Jobs for several years. Just to give you an idea, I work as security in the morning and as a chef at a dinner-only restaurant
damn.
at night. So my life for the past 8 or so years has been basically me going to work early in the morning, coming home to hold my daughter, play with her for just a little bit to let her know that daddy still loves her. I would
Yep.
then take a little bit of a nap until I needed to go into my second job. I was the only one working since my wife insisted that she be a stay-at-home mom, which was fine with
Alright,
me since someone
acceptable.
was at home to watch our daughter when she came home.
Honestly, some people are gonna be like, some dumb feminists are gonna be like, do you think that women should be in the kitchen or some shit? No, there's this thing called house laws. The man and woman negotiate, and they're like, okay, I do this, you do this, so that we can split up the things we have to do for our home, for our kids, for our pets, all that stuff.
from school. A bit more than 2 weeks ago, I found out my wife has been cheating on me. And what I would come to learn later is that this has been going on for years. I came home early from my morning job due to the building being shut down so that the security system could be upgraded. So I went home in a good mood and thought to play with my daughter for a bit and then take a nap for my night job, just so I can actually
Alright.
get enough sleep for once. When I got home, I noticed a strange car in the driveway. I had never seen it before, so I honestly had no idea who it belonged to. I was worried since this is so strange. So I quietly enter my house with a
Alright.
tire iron just in case it was a home robbery or something along those lines so I can at least defend myself. But that wasn't the case. In fact, it was
Okay.
much worse. I heard noises that were not very appropriate coming from the direction of my wife.
He's like, Daddy harder. She. She was like, imagine going to home and hearing your wife being like, oh, Daddy harder. Oh, Daddy harder.
Bedroom. And after a little bit of secretive investigation, I found out the worst, that yes, my wife was indeed cheating on me in our own bedroom. The revelation of this stunned me to the point that I felt my heart stop. Time slowed down and I couldn't move as I just stood there and watched everything happen. My wife then says to this man that, oh, it's fine, my husband will never know, and he'll just take care of the kid if I get pregnant again. Those words flipped my world around. I left my house just as
Shit.
quietly as I...
Imagine finding out your kid isn't actually your kid. But he sounds like a good dad. Like, a good dad like him wouldn't care about the kid because the kid is still his kid, if you know what I mean. Not biologically, but spiritually. This kid was raised by him. So, technically, she is his kid, if you know what I mean.
entered it, and I drove off. I drove to a hilltop view of the city, which is one of the places I would go when I was younger, as to give myself some peace of mind. And once I got up there, I broke down into tears. The wife I loved, the one I sacrificed so much for, had been cheating on me, and according to what I was hearing, my own daughter might not even be mine. So I got a DNA kit in secret, and I got a DNA kit for my daughter as well,
Okay.
without my wife knowing, and sent it in for the results. I prayed for the first time in years that my fears were wrong, that maybe I had just misheard her implications out of shock or rage. So I waited until the test results
Okay.
came in, and unfortunately, they proved I was not the father of our child. I remember staying home that day and waiting for her to come home as well.
Shit.
When she did, she saw me sitting at the table and sat down across from me. She asked what was wrong and said nothing as I slid the papers across the table that proved our daughter was not mine. Her face went white as she saw them. All I could ask her at that moment was, why? That was the only thing I could manage to say. The rage
Shit.
within me was indescribable at this point. She tried to make up some lie, some excuse in her head, but in the end, she told me straight out,
Ads again, ads. Fun fact, this is a fucking TikTok ad. Like, I'm not gonna download that shit anyway. Alright, let's go.
was indescribable at this point. She tried to make up some lie, some excuse in her head, but in the end, she told me straight out, it's because you've never been there for me. You did this to me. I have...
Shut the actual fuck up, you retarded ass bitch. Bro literally goes, not being with your wife at home ever is either means that you're a really good husband or really bad husband. Okay? If you're this guy, you're always out making money so that you can support your family. This is a bitch, okay? This is a slut. That girl is an absolute slut. She deserves to be in fucking hell.
urges you aren't around to satisfy. I left after hearing her say that. This woman, no, this monster, who told me time and time again that we didn't have enough money and that I needed to put in more hours so that we could pay for things that we needed.
Okay.
She actually had the audacity to tell me that her cheating on me was my fault. That me working all day to provide for my family was reason enough for her to cheat on me. Never in my life have I felt...
Don't believe her. Just... she's talking shit. Don't ever listen to what a bitch says. Don't ever listen to what a slut says.
more of a temptation
She should have became a hooker, not a housewife.
to result of physical violence ever than this very moment. I packed a bag with clothes and then went to a friend's place and explained what happened. They told me to file for divorce, so I went through the process and I'm still going through it as of writing this post. The issue that might make me the jerk here is that we were invited to a family reunion this last Sunday, and I had taken time off to go. Her family respected me and thought of me as family, so we went to the reunion, since we had said we were already gonna go, and her daughter still should hang around her cousins when able to. The entire time we were on our way there, which took 3 hours by car, she begged me not to mention the cheating, or the fact that I wasn't actually this kid's father. The reason for this is that her great-grandmother, a woman in her late 90s who even I respect despite no actual blood relation to her, she was going to be there, and this was more than likely going to be her last reunion before she left to a better place. My wife didn't want her great-grandmother to know that I hate her for it. I promised nothing and simply grunted as a response. So we get there and I hang out with the guys there, as far away from my wife as I could get, and all day I hear these men tell me that I was doing such a good job being a father to our daughter. This isn't the first time they...
Okay. This guy is going through the worst situation of his life ever. Okay? Again, this bitch deserves to be in hell. I don't care what the fuck you say.
Did this. Since the last reunion I went to, they explained that they hadn't approved of me at first. They assumed I was going to be a deadbeat dad sort of person, and actually apologized when they saw that I was not that type of guy. To this day, I still hold no hard feelings about that assumption, since in a way I can understand where they are coming from. But now every compliment on the matter felt like a knife in my heart, since I knew the truth about my wife's daughter, and yet I remained silent, and I just thanked them for their compliments. It wasn't until later that day that my wife's great-grandmother slowly came my way and spoke to me. She said the same thing as the men earlier, since she has seen so many parents in her life who didn't put in the amount of effort I did to raise a family. But it was at this point
she made a point, okay? That grandmother knows what she's talking about, okay? Because there are a lot of entitled parents out there, a lot of Karens, a lot of parents who don't know how to raise a fucking child.
Broke down and I cried. Here I was, surrounded by my in-laws, crying hard. She took my hand and gave me a look that said, "Tell me your troubles, child." And I told her everything. The cheating, the truth about her great-granddaughter, everything. The silence that followed was indescribable, and I apologized and told them I couldn't be there anymore. I got in my car and drove 3 hours home. I didn't get my wife or her daughter. I drove home alone with my phone off. When I got home, I turned it on to see that I had so many missed calls from my wife and messages that summed up to her calling me a jerk for telling her family the truth.
Like, imagine doing this kind of stuff and expecting your husband to not tell anybody.
And that I ruined her relationship with the family, and that she was going to make my life miserable when she got back home.
You already made your own life miserable, you fucking hooker.
I called a few friends and began the process.
And you destroy his life.
Of boxing my stuff. She got home Tuesday night via her sister driving her back. But by that point, I had all but moved into my friend's downstairs parlor area, where I am currently living at the moment. While telling the truth was honestly like lifting a burden off my shoulder, I fear the ramifications of doing so for my wife's daughter. Because I told the extended family that she is the product of an affair, she might be shunned and hated like her mother now is within her family. I never wanted this for her. I would never wish such a thing on the child, since it wasn't her choice to be born as she was. So what should I do? Am I the jerk for telling her family the truth? I don't think you're the jerk at all. I honestly, if I was in that situation, probably would have done the same thing. I can't think of a better way to get back at this lying person than to get back at them where it counts. I would scream that from the rooftops. And honestly, saying this at a family reunion for everybody to hear gets it out of the...
Honestly, imagine you're in that situation and you're a famous YouTuber. Like, that would be the ultimate death sentence for her. Imagine posting that on YouTube when you're really famous. Like, that shit is gonna destroy her life.
Without her trying to twist the story around. I honestly don't blame you for doing it. I think you can definitely feel like a jerk at the moment, but this lady literally ruined your life. This kid is not even yours because she cheated on you.
Like, the kid is yours, not biologically, but the kid is raised by you. She probably has character traits from you. So yeah, She is your daughter, not biologically, but spiritually.
For
If if they wanted to, if when they divorced, they went to the real dad, the kid would want you back because it's your kid. She's lived with you. She loves you, and yeah,
years, and she was using you to try and get you to raise another kid for her. She was flying high while you were working your butt off every single day, working 2 jobs. I would not feel bad about this at all. This lady got what's coming to her. And yeah, she's probably going to try and make your life a nightmare, but that should
yep,
be evidence enough that this lady is crazy and a terrible person. So no, you are not the jerk in
okay,
this situation. The lady who cheated on you for years, who's raising a daughter that isn't even yours, she is the jerk. And I think you already know this, but you're going to be a lot happier without that psychopath in your life. I'm
probably,
at my wit's end with my girlfriend's phone calls, and I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I have been together for 18 months. She's absolutely
all right,
fantastic, and by far the best partner I have ever had. However, there is one issue that has arisen, and that's her excessive phone calls. For background, our schedules are as
okay,
follows. Saturday morning to Tuesday
okay,
morning, we spend time together. Tuesday to Friday, we both work intensive hours, so we can't really see one another. I mostly work from home, while her job involves a long commute. Every weeknight, we spend time together via phone or video chat. We talk, watch TV together, cook. It's a great way to feel connected when
nice,
circumstances prevent us from actually being together. I enjoy this time very much, and we never run out of things to do or talk about. We do this for about 2 to 3 hours per night. This is not the problem. I
nice,
really want to stress this to you. I enjoy this time together. However, she calls me on her morning commute into work, which is about an hour, as well as her lunch break, which is also an hour, as well as her evening commute home, which is also another hour. Unlike our nightly conversations, I do not enjoy these calls. At night, we talk about anything and everything under the sun, and the well never runs dry. The commuting phone calls are the exact opposite. She has nothing to
yep.
say, I have nothing to say, and honestly, why would we? We've either just woken up or have spent a long time at work.
Another ad, again, another ad. All right, let's get this.
And
Let's
honestly,
go.
why would we? We've either just woken up or have spent a long time at work. My girlfriend is an extrovert, and I
Yep.
suspect she has difficulty spending time alone. The content of our daytime conversations strongly support this. In contrast to our free-flowing and natural nightly calls, the day
I mean,
ones
yeah.
are extremely forced, and I often get the impression that she's just desperate for noise of any kind. This honestly leaves me drained, because I feel like the pressure is on to supposedly entertain her in order
Okay.
to relieve her boredom, restlessness, or anxiety. Basically, I'm looking for advice on how to escape or at least reduce these daytime calls. I just wish it was simple because there's so many stipulations. She is an incredibly sensitive person, for one. Bringing the issue up to her will not go well. I can't do this because she will be utterly devastated. I know for a fact that one of her previous relationships ended because her ex was irritated by the frequency of her phone calls, and I do not want to make her feel the same way. I love this woman, and I don't want her to feel hurt. I also can't just make excuses every time she calls. 3 excuses per day isn't going to fly. There's only so
Yep.
many grandmas that can pass away for me to get out of a phone call. And I've also tried to encourage her to text me during the day instead of
So
calling
many
me. I wouldn't
dramas.
mind texting her more. It's the static nature of phone calls that are bothersome during the day. However, she does not like texting. She does suffer from ADHD and finds it hard to concentrate on texts, so that's out too. She knows that my work routine is sporadic. I have long-term deadlines, not short ones. This means that she knows I'm never technically too busy to make phone calls. So deadline-related excuses don't really work in terms of getting me out of these phone calls.
Okay.
I love my girlfriend. I just want to try and make this work. What should I do? I totally understand.
Honestly, if that was me, okay, it's honestly a hard situation. Okay, in this situation, both of you seem like you're nice people. Honestly, the girlfriend seems like a nice girl. You seem like a nice man. And honestly, in this case, what I would do is honestly try and talk it out. Okay, I know it's gonna be easy for me because I have like charisma 9,000, but charisma, I mean talking power or shit. I'm extrovert as fuck. So yeah, honestly, I would try to talk it out. I would I would be like, listen, you're an extrovert, I'm an introvert. Uh, we need to reduce the calls. I'll still be with you. We'll still keep being in contact, but the day calls just have to go. Something like that. So yeah.
Your girlfriend is a sensitive individual, but honestly, in order for there to be proper communication, you're gonna have to say something.
Yep.
And it's not like you're gonna come into this and be argumentative about it. Obviously, you can just say something to the effect of, hey, can we maybe cut the conversations down? Or
Yeah,
some
something
kind of
like
nice
that.
way of saying it. You are both adults, and you really should be able to talk about this without any kind of major blow up. I understand
Yeah.
that preconceived notions about previous relationships would definitely add some stress in talking about this, but it really is possible to bring this up in a gentle way that you can both come to some kind of mutual understanding. But
Yeah.
what would you do? Leave a comment down below and let us know. We'd love to hear it. An
I ain't
entitled
leaving no
customer
comment.
tried to expose me over our restaurant's prices, but fails miserably. So today, a weird situation
fun.
happened. A guy walked in and said he wanted to place an order to go. He looks at the menu for a minute and then decides to order one of our breakfast skillets. However, he wanted to add a bunch of extras and modifications. He asked for extra meat, extra cheese, hot peppers, and mushrooms. I wrote down his order.
Honestly, meat and cheese are amazing. I would just give it to him because I agree with him. More meat and more cheese means better.
And then told him the total. He immediately goes, "What? Why does it cost that much?" I explained to him that we have to charge for extras. And with extra meat, cheese, and 2 extra veggies, it adds up quite a bit. I explained to him that I had to charge 99 cents for the extra veggie and extra cheese, and $2 for the extra meat. He looks at me and says, "Seriously? You're gonna charge me 99 cents for some hot peppers and $2 for some meat?" I basically just apologized and said that these are the prices and there's not much I can do otherwise. He then says, "Never mind, that's too expensive, forget about it." Then he storms out and leaves. Well, things got more interesting when 5 minutes later the phone rings. I answer it and I can immediately tell from the voice that it's the same guy from earlier who stormed out. He orders the exact same thing as before, but leaves out a couple of the previous additions. So instead of extra meat, cheese, hot peppers, and mushrooms, he just asked for extra meat and mushrooms. He then asked me for the total again. I tell him the new total, which is less than before, since he didn't add as many things. And this is where he thought he caught me in some kind of weird conspiracy theory. He goes, "Ha, I was just in there minutes ago and ordered the exact same thing, and you said it was more. But now that you don't know what I look like, you're telling me it's some cheaper amount." I said to him, "Yeah, that's because this time you didn't add the extra cheese and hot peppers." He then just laughed and hung up the phone. I was so baffled. Like, what is this guy's problem? I'm just so tired of people saying, "I want extra this, that, and that," and then getting mad when we have to charge them for it. So the moral of—
honestly, like, I'm not American, but I'm Persian, but the $3.88 or something, $2.90 or something. I don't know how much it was. Like, let's say $5. $5 isn't that much. The meal itself, let's say it's $10. $15 for a meal. Honestly, that might seem extreme to an American person, but in Iran, where inflation is so fucking high, I would find this as a steal. Honestly, I would love that deal.
the story, if you ask for extra, you're gonna get billed for extra. How weird can you possibly be? People who act like this and fight over the prices of a store or a restaurant of some kind are just really weird.
Honestly, when you're living in America, which has great economy and prices aren't that bad, it's livable. Okay? Don't get mad at prices. The waiter can't do shit about that bullshit. Like, people in America are mad that the gas prices going up. We had gas prices going up since 10 years ago, and it's still going up.
In my mind, to be completely honest, like, these are outliers of society because those prices are not going to change for you. You are not a VIP for this restaurant. They do not care about you that much. You are a
I'm the son of the president, actually, so I should get this for free. Shut the fuck up, you fucking Nigerian. Yeah, that sounded even worse, but who cares?
normal customer just like anybody else. So pretending like you shouldn't have to pay for stuff is this weird form of entitlement that I will never understand. So yeah, if you ask for extra stuff at a restaurant, be prepared to pay for more, because otherwise you're just gonna look entitled, and everybody, including that minimum wage worker that you're currently yelling at over prices, are 100% gonna make fun of you online afterwards.
Yep.
And to be honest, you kinda deserve it. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe,
Honestly, this guy's channel, I can milk it. Like, this guy's videos are shit that I can react to because I like reacting to commentary stuff. So I can milk this guy's channel and finally get some good fucking content. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one.